Hello faithful viewers, and welcome back to another Transformers review. This time we're looking at the Transformers first movie, Voyager Class Rescue Ratchet. This is a G1 repaint of the original Voyager Class Ratchet, and as always we begin in vehicle mode. So Ratchet here is a Hummer H2. It's kind of like an ambulance sort of vehicle, I believe. You've got like a heart rate monitor kind of thing going along the side here, further ambulance text on the door, playing back. Sort of the same thing on the other side there. You've got translucent blue windows all on the front and the sides. I think this entire bit here is clear plastic. It's just painted up top to be white so it matches the rest of the vehicle. Fortunately, I mean, I've had my figure for a very, very, very long time, probably since 2007, 2008. I've kept it in very good condition, all things considered. I don't think there's much in the way of yellowing going on here. Now, obviously, white Transformers can be very prone to degrading plastic quality. A lot of them, you know, end up going yellow. This one has actually stayed pretty well. This is the standard Ratchet that you would see for the majority of the live action films. And I don't mean that in terms of colour scheme, I mean this in terms of toy mould, because not only did this Ratchet come out for the first toy line, but Revenge of the Fallen also redecoed this version of Ratchet as well. Dark of the Moon also used this Voyager mould. That was, I think, the last time it was actually used, but it's a very common figure, and the majority of the Ratchets that you do see out there on the market are this one. I know, like, probably the Studio series has taken precedent now, but this is the status quo, the norm, the benchmark for Ratchet figures. So overall, the vehicle mode, I think, is very, very solid indeed. You know, like, you flip it over to the underside and you can see some gaff here, like you've got the arms, you've got the head, whatever. But as vehicles go, this is incredibly solid. Let's get on to transformation, shall we? It's very simple for a 2007 figure. Not that 2007 figures were very difficult at all. It's just, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, I suppose. What we want to be doing for a start is removing this thing from the top. We'll come back to this later because this is part of the gimmickry of the figure. Now, come to the panels here on the side, unclip them, fold them back like that, and then drag the arms out and keep them out and flush like so. Same thing on the other side. Just rotate that just like that. And then what we can do at this stage is rotate the arms all the way around like so. You want to be splitting the legs. Take these back panels here, fold them down. Now the figure's automorph is in its legs. As you, well, for a start, let's straighten them. As you disengage the feet and flip them down, what you will find is that the kneecaps come down, and also a panel on the side here with a heart rate monitor sort of thing folds itself out. It's very subtle automorph, it's not in your face like other figures, but it's appreciated all the same. So same thing on here, unclip that, and then as you bring it down, first pop out. Rotate the legs at the knees, so that these panels are now the back of the legs. Bend the spine and the waist bit just like that, whilst keeping these legs in position. So now you've got this red bit facing forward. We're going to return our attention to the top side of the figure, and we're going to come to the windows, flip them up over the bonnet of the car, and as we do so, split the windows, move them all the way to the back. And now we're going to do the most interesting part of the transformation of this figure, and I really do like this. We are going to rotate and basically fold this all on top of itself until it just tabs into place. It's an attempt to kind of replicate the whole waist rotation thing that he actually does in the films. It's not perfect, it's not identical to it by any means, but it's a very good attempt. Now I can straighten the arms, just like so, and then the head reveal by flipping that panel back. And there you go. That is Ratchet fully transformed into a very good robot mode. Yes, it's not 100% movie accurate, but it's close enough to be serviceable. And yeah, stunning detail everywhere. Really take a good look at that head sculpt. Very nice moulding on there also. Very accurate to how he looks in the film. We've not cut any corners with here, but it is a G1ified version, so instead of the green and silver face, you've this time got a red and grey face with a bit of white on top, and plus there is blue light piping. It's not the greatest light piping in the world, but you know, does its job. Interesting how you've got this part of, you know, the chest upside down basically now. You've got some Autobot symbols on the shoulders, primarily white, red, bits and bobs here and there. So really nice paint scheme though. I've not seen the like the original colours of Ratchet, the lime green sort of thing in person, but yeah. This is a very nice deco, I have to say. Now, let's turn our attention to accessories and gimmicks. We've covered the Automorph already. There's nothing new to discover there. But we will have a look at the trolley bed thing. I don't know what this is meant to be. Via this peg on here, you just slot it into his left arm. And you apparently tear his arm off, just like so. Fortunately, it will just tab right back in, but the idea that it can pop off in the get-go is a bit frustrating. It is a snug fit, it is very, you know, secure, and this is meant to be sort of like a shield for him. Shield in quotation marks and question marks as well, because what kind of a shield could this possibly be? It's still a bit weird, but it has a gimmick factor to it. So if you split it there, and then you see like the Minicon sort of lever here, if you push it forward and backwards, it's meant to be like a grabby claw sort of thing, except it's kind of reverse engineered by the fact that it works better when you're trying to slam it shut. And yeah, you'd have thought it should be the other way where you pull the lever and it opens, but nah. Yeah, it's a weird gimmick, so I don't display him with this at all, to be fair. What I and just about every other human on the planet do is we take the tab, we come to the port on the back of the flap there, and we just tab it in, and that is the official storage for this thing. Maybe a better way to store this is if you split it slightly and then tab it on the other way round. I mean, you can kind of get that going. Now, this is just a thing that I like to do, and it's personal preference how you store this, but a bit more of an accurate look for him would be is if he had these lights in front of his tyres, because that's how he does have them in the film. So this is the closest you're going to get to recreating that with this figure. So in a way, having it like this kind of makes him a bit more movie accurate, but I understand that this might not be to everybody's taste, but it's something that I occasionally like to do with him. Another little gimmicky thing that he has got is if we turn our attention to this arm, pull down on this panel, and then get our finger on the underside and flip up that panel, rotate the hand in, close that, and then we can unfurl this. And this is meant to be an axe of sorts, but I like the idea of the figure having a weapon that is integrated into it somehow and is revealed via a transformation of sorts. The Battleblade's Bumblebee, I mean, I personally don't like it, but you can transform its arm into a cannon. That's cool. With Ratchet here, you can transform his arm into a pathetic excuse for an axe, but it's cool. I would like it though if it tabbed in slightly. Unfortunately, it doesn't, so it's a bit of a flippy-floppy mess, but, you know, it's the thought that counts. In terms of articulation, Ratchet's head can turn 360 degrees just like that, but that's it. No upward motion, no downward motion. The shoulders can rotate freely 360 degrees like that. The arms can spread out about that far. There is a peg which allows 360 degrees of upper arm rotation. It also allows the arm to detach, as we saw earlier. When it comes to the wrists, at least this one can go in and out, but it does unfortunately disconnect that stuff there. And I did read that in terms of digit articulation, the thumbs, apparently, yeah, there we go, the thumbs are individually articulated for some bizarre reason. What the purpose of that could be, I don't possibly know. He has nothing per se at the waist because of the way that it locks in for transformation. In terms of the spread, only that, so that's disappointing. But again, it's because of all of this gaff here, these tyres, etc. In terms of a forward kick, very good. In terms of a back kick, you know, to be expected. In terms of a knee bend, yep, 90 degrees of knee, that's good. And in terms of feet, you've got a little bit of up and down before you start activating the whole transformation hinge. Overall articulation, what you'd basically expect from a 2007 figure. It's not great compared to modern day standards, but for the time, you know, and especially for this design, it is what it is, it's acceptable. For size comparisons, here is Ratchet next to Revenge of the Fallen Ironhide, who uses the same base mould as the first movie. So yeah, two Voyager classes from 2007, decently sized compared to one another. Ironhide is shorter in this case, but you know, there's not a lot of difference in them. Here's Ratchet next to Revenge of the Fallen Lockdown, who is technically a deluxe class figure, but you could extend this guy to Voyager class size as well. But kind of gives you a sense of scale from, you know, 2007 to 2009 at least. But if you want a sense of scale as to how Voyager classes have evolved over the years, well, this is our knockoff Studio Series Optimus Prime, who is Voyager class. And you can see the massive difference here compared to 2007 to, I want to say, 2018, 19, something like that. Drastically different. And then here's Ratchet next to our good old mate Mysterio. So there we go, that's our look at Rescue Ratchet. I think it's a very decent figure, all things considered. You know, it's 2007, it's quite outdated now. There have been vast improvements to just Transformers engineering since this time, but the sheer fact that this Ratchet was repurposed so many times over the years speaks volumes to this figure's legacy and longevity. So for that reason alone, if you have a Ratchet in your collection, it's probably going to end up being this one or a variation of this one. And if you are seeking a Ratchet, I mean, probably go for the Studio Series one in all fairness, but you're more likely to end up with one of these, and I recommend you actually get one of these. I would probably say this might be the nicest variation of this Ratchet mold that's out there, but having said that, I've never seen the original or the Dark of the Moon versions in person, so that's kind of like a biased viewpoint on my behalf. It's one of those special figures that you've got to have at some point. Thank you everybody so much for stopping by and checking out this review. Like and subscribe if you haven't already, and share it around to help out the channel. And until the next time, see you all later.